Sometimes being nice is not the same as being honest. We might smile, agree, or present ourselves in a version that we think other people want to see while hiding who we truly are. Today's practice is to notice where you may be choosing approval over authenticity. Good morning, I'm Sandy. Take a slow breath in and gently let it out. And settle in for today's intention. It's human nature to lie only when it makes sense that the truth feels uncomfortable or dangerous. We might fear rejection, conflict, or judgment. We might be afraid we'll hurt someone's feelings or they won't like us, right? If we say how we really feel. We can begin adjusting ourselves to become the version of ourselves that we think other people want to see in us. Think of placing yourself inside the perfectly sized box and wrapping it up with pretty paper and a bow. Constant self-judgment and self-adjustment can separate us from who we truly are. So today's intention is focused around the yoga principle of satya, which is truth. Satya doesn't ask us to be harsh or cruel or careless with our words. It asks us to stop creating false versions of ourselves in order to manage how other people see us. Being real doesn't mean saying everything that enters our mind. It means that what we say, what we do, and how we present to the world are all aligned with our true selves. So, a personal example of this that really jumps out at me is years ago, I was working at a restaurant and it was just getting ready to open. And there was a lot of young people, younger than I was there. And there was a young girl who had clearly spent a lot of effort and energy in getting her face done. And she had a lot of lip enhancements. And I was sitting at a table with her and another server, a young man, and they were having a conversation. And she said to him, "Do you think my lips are big enough?" And it was clear that they were. And he said to her, "You look perfect." And I just thought that was the kindest, honest response because she is perfect, how she is. Nothing else needs to be changed. And changing the external won't change the internal. But that example stayed with me because it was an example of how nonviolence takes precedence over truth when there is a conflict between the two. Another example that I recall that I actually found to be really helpful happened years ago when I was having a discussion with a friend of mine, and I was much younger at the time. This was probably the late 90s, early mid 90s. Anyway, she was telling me how she doesn't have so much of a problem saying no when she means no, and I was having a problem telling people, specifically family members, extended family members that were part of my in-laws, they were always asking me for time commitments, and I had such a hard time saying no. She said to me, every time you're presented with that situation where you want to say no, but you're afraid of the disapproval you'll get from saying no, say, "I will let you know." And that buys you enough time to think about it and decide if it's something you actually want to commit to. So, where in your life are you currently managing an image and allowing people to think you feel differently or are different than you actually are? Notice whether you're silencing yourself, saying yes when you mean no, or you're simply performing for approval. Then notice one moment today where you're tempted to distort yourself, silence yourself, or say yes when you mean no. Ask yourself, am I choosing kindness or am I choosing approval? Practice one honest response that is both real and considerate. So take another breath in, exhale as you relax, and follow with me for today's intention. Today, I notice when I'm distorting or silencing myself to gain approval. I speak from the center of my unique essence with honesty and consideration. I choose to be real rather than just be nice. I trust authenticity creates relationships with fewer surprises and greater depth. Remember, you may not get to choose everything the day brings your way, but you can choose how you meet it with purpose. Thank you for sharing these few moments with me. Until tomorrow, be well and meet your day with purpose. Namaste.